टोपी मार के बैठी
मुश्किल है ये प्रैक्टिस नहीं किया था sorry I have a very bad throat so please manage with that I think after Aditi's extremely vibrant session this is going to be very different अरे यार वो सुनने में ना sometimes you feel that it is really you I was like यार are you reading about me yeah then I realized yeah I haven't provided it as my so good okay so thanks everyone for coming and it's really nice this is my first session here as an author reading out his book so I'm not sure how I'm going to do it but let me start I will begin with reading the blurb of the book which is at the back just to set the context of what the book is about. So the book is titled Navapura, the city of nine peaks. It goes under the category of spiritual fiction. So this is what the book is about. Guided by a mystic force, King Manu of Navapura goes through a journey of self-discovery. As he opens the gates of a city one by one, a city that has been for long confined within its walls, are unexposed to the world. Manu is driven by a strong passion, a longing for adventure, an admiration for the beauty of the world, and a will to surmount all challenges that he and the city face. A gripping tale narrated in lucid words, contemporary language, and interspersed poetry. The book makes the reader relate to his own experiences and experiments in life. So that's the context. It's about a king's journey. I will start with a brief extract from the first, from where the book starts, how the story starts. The chapter 1 is called The Expedition Begins. All around the city, it was quiet. There hung a silence which is ecstatic. King Manu watched the wide expanse from the top of his palace tower and surveyed the area outside the city. The stillness outside the city contrasted the hustle and bustle inside. From where he was watching, the people in the city looked like small insects inside the city walls. Today, he was looking outside the city and wondering on what more there is to do in his life. So that's a brief of where it starts. As I said, Manu decides to go out of a city, this age-old city which is confined within its walls. The second extract which I'm going to read out is about the first interaction of Manu with a force called Guher. Guher is this mystic force existent inside a cave in the below the palace, Manu's palace. Guher is a force which is only seen, not heard. Only heard, not seen. It is only heard, not seen. And this is how the interaction with Guher goes. He bent low to gain access and stood up after passing the stone arch into Guher's cave. A faint light shone, as with the rest of the cave. Manu had never understood where this came from. There were no visible cracks in the wall, no signs of a fire, lights, or anything that could cause a faint light. It was just good enough for one to see a few steps ahead, but not enough to make out what lay beyond that. Manu spoke the customary salutation. Hail Guher, protector of Navapura, guide of its citizens and the source of life. Some acknowledgement. I come to share with you that all is well in Navapura. The citizens pay their respects to you and are generally at peace. The cattle is healthy, the new road has been finished and is strong. The sign is shining well and the crops are good. All is well in general. He stopped. He had really nothing more to say at this time, as he had really not paid much attention to the affairs of Navapura over the last months, being much too engrossed in his thoughts of the expedition and discussing plans with Manu. There was no sound. And then a cackle. Manu felt a chill run up his spine. He knew Guher had fathomed his inner thoughts, as he had done earlier in the market of the tower. So gathering courage, Manu went on. The tower has shown me great sights on what lies outside the gates of our great city. The forests, the mighty river, the colorful fields, the plains. I feel these hold a lot which can be used to improve the life of my citizens. I want to go and find out what lays there and harness the offerings of these resources. I want to find out and bring back these resources. I want to improve. He was cut off by a sudden whoosh. And for the city, all Manu knew he could not take the hit. He stood tall and said, yes, it is true that my passion to know what lies beyond is stronger than my intent to improve the city. I will not be at peace till I go and find out. I seek your consent to my mission. There was silence after he said it. He waited. He could not speak anymore. Silence was killing him. After a few moments, which seemed like a whole day to Manu, Guher said, go there. Seek. Find no. Time has come. Ready for. And a small explosive sound came up. Guher closed the meeting with his customary. Time goes. Come again. Manu knew that the session had ended, and all sounds lapsed, and there was complete silence. He stood there as if struck. He had got what he had desired. The consent to seek and satiate his burning desire. His mind was racing again, and he hardly managed to say the last Hail Guher, and started moving fast towards the exit. He stopped halfway to think of what he should say when he reached the palace floor. He waited, caught his breath, his thoughts, controlled his excitement, and prepared himself to face his torturers. So that's one extract which I think that said a lot of things about what's going on in that city. After this, Manu convinces his courtiers who are not all ready, and they finally decide to go out. There is the first expedition through the northern gates which goes into the forest. And again now this is the first time these guys are actually seeing forests. So they have interactions with various beasts and various, the flora and fauna. This one is probably what I've picked out as the most adventurous twist in the whole forest expedition. After seeing a few things, they come across the royal tiger, and they decide that they must capture this dead or alive. Remember, it's the first time they're doing this, so they have all these plans. Mahi is Manu's wife. There are other courtiers who will come into the reading as and when it comes. I will not bother to introduce all of them, but just for you to know that Mahi is Manu's wife and the rest of the courtiers. So this is the incident with the tiger. A flash of stripes in the air, a throw of royalty, and a soldier was on the ground. A strike on his face, a deadening roar, a terrified shout. Flash of stripes again in a direction of its own choice. Unyielding to the choice of these men, the fight had begun, and the royal beast had got its first victim, and a taste of blood which acted to increase its anger, hatred, and need to rule. The blood of a human. The blood which made men gather notions of control now lay in the mouth of this beast, and it was like man had made this beast understand his passion for power by sharing his blood. A spear came hurling and fell near the tiger, and the circle of sounds forced the beast to look for retreat. The plan of men worked over the beast, which saw its way out. Another leaped, and the soldier on the edge of the circle knew he was a target. He raised his spear to hold back the animal. It scraped the body of the beast, and the tiger itself was on the soldier, whose scream lasted but a moment. Seemed like eternity for those watching, who could see the red liquid spurting out, spraying on the tiger's body, getting mixed with its own blood. The scream ended, a roar sounded again, sending waves of fear into the air, and into the hearts of men, especially those with no weapons. Some of the workers stopped their drums, but the other team had reached. A signal from Manu started off the drums of the new joiners, and the tiger rose looking for a direction of retreat. A sharp spear thrown by Satwan hit the animal's flank, and the sound of renewed anger mixed with its instinct of finding its way for survival sounded out. The tiger ran, and the men found that they had succeeded in making it move in the direction of the trap. Manu, Satwan and Nirman, who had come with a new team, followed the beast with the soldiers and their noises, while the others circled around as they entered the forest, where the trees had now taken over the land from the grass which the beast loved so much as its cover. They had mounted horses, taken from the soldiers who had come in, with Nirman to keep pace. The tiger was seen running in the distance. As if the tiger knew what was in store for it, it stopped suddenly and turned. The three riders, taken aback by the sudden change, were unable to stop the pace of their steeds. They came close as they tried to stop their horses, but the tiger leapt for the throat of Manu's horse. The uncomprehending steed, unable to react, fell, with the king thrown on the ground. Manu struck his spear with all his might, and it found its mark on the neck of the tiger. Its roar sounded of pain, and the fight was ebbing out of his body with the blood which was oozing out. Stricken but not defeated in spirit, it returned its remaining anger to Manu, who was scraping on the ground in retreat. A spear pierced the tiger's back, aimed perfectly by Satya. He rolled round the beast, held out his hand, and at a deft moment picked up his king off the ground. Mahi, who had reached now, ordered the soldiers to push the beast into the pit. The limping tiger, with its eyes reflecting its ebbing strength and the will to fight, and losing its will to fight, could but follow the route led by the men, determined to defeat the spirit of this beast. It moved slowly, and with its life oozing out, with its blood stepped onto the net covered by leaves and grass. A loud, frightened roar sounded, signaling its resignation to its fate, as it fell into the trap and was covered by leaves and grass. The people gathered around, and so did the king, Satwan, along with Mahi and Nirman. The royal beast was defeated, and it would die soon. The sound stopped, and the men watched life flowing out of the tiger, as it kept up its small roars, as if asking the men, why, why, and the last why, with which the sound stopped.
I believe you have to do a lot of research for writing.
I'm not done yet. I have 5 minutes left, so I've got. So I will do 2 more extracts, which should be done in the next 5 minutes, if you don't mind. One is from the 3rd chapter. So after the episode with the tiger, the whole rest of the story in the forest, they go back to their city, and things change because of some reason, some situations. The whole expedition starts eastward, where they go to, they look at the river there. They try to see what they can do with it. So this is just a small excerpt, a poem which is part of the book. When they come across this very beautifully hidden waterfall, for the first time they're seeing a waterfall. So the poets of Navapura sing something on these lines. The water splashes along with force and play. We met wonder at its sight, powerful yet gay. The bow of colors, the spray of water flowers in the air. This is the place which can wash away despair. A king's might mixed with the entertainment of a player, inspiring fun, awe, and prayer. So that's a small poem which is part of this, and then they come across this waterfall. The last excerpt which I'm reading is about when a major disaster then strikes Navapura. So Manu keeps going through these expeditions, and they end up in a really challenging spot. There's a lot of death in the city, there's been infighting and things like that. So he goes up to Guhe. So this is another of his interactions with Guhe. I will stop with this one, because going beyond this is likely to reveal the last part of the story, which I hope I will not reveal now. I hope everyone will read through. A whooshing sound signaled Guhe said, "You know what has happened, and you knew it would happen," said Manu. "Yes," came Guhe's reply. Manu was angry now. "How could you let it happen? You should have told me to stop the intoxicants when I asked." "Think what I said. Think." Manu recollected his last discussion. "You said people can't be controlled, and they will find ways to get intoxicants and use them. can't avoid. You have started. Face boldly, said to him. Why did you not stop me? You are the guardian of Navapura, said Manu, a little subdued now. I guide, you do. You are the king. You decide what must be done. Think like me, be like me, you will see.
So I believe you have to do a lot of research for this. You have to share like some of the research process, like how you mentioned.
See, in terms of research, I think it's been more of experiences. For example, the core of the story came out from my understanding or my learning, let me say. I still don't understand, I'm not that far yet. So I've been learning the Bhagavad Gita, and the core inspiration or the concept of the book came from a line from the Bhagavad Gita, Shloka 5.13. So my research consists only of understanding what to whatever level I can. And then the rest of the incidents are all taken from what we see in day-to-day life. You know, I go to forest, you know, and the waterfall incident especially came out when I visited Kunur. There's this place called Catherine Falls, and you know, I had this long half-an-hour walk with a friend of mine, and the thing revealed itself step by step. You know, the whole thing, the enchanting process of going somewhere which you don't know. So it was that experience which came out in sense of identifying new things which happen around you, which reflected in my book as different incidents. So in terms of research, I think it's been less because it's been fiction. I had all the flexibility to write whatever I felt like. You know, it's an imaginary thing. You know, imagining a city which has never been outside itself is absolutely fictional. But whatever the twists with various points of nature are based on more like what I've been through, what I've enjoyed in my life.
Dynamic between Manu and Lahe is kind of a dynamic between Krishna Bhagavan and Arjuna. Was that
If I speak more on this, it could be a big spoiler. But let me put it this way. Guhyen is the guardian, and Manu is the king who's out to discover. So it's a question of yes, those dynamics, those equations were something which took a lot of my thought process. You know, the way it was figured, the way I've tried to write it in the book, because when I read I can bring in expressions. When I write I can't put the expression in there. So wording it, you know, writing long. So for example, the first boosh is written as multiple O's and multiple H's. So the reader gets a feeling that it's a long thing, you know. The first yes is many yeses there, S's over there. Whereas if you see the last interaction, the book will have straight words. You will not get all those dramatics in there, which shows the difference, as you said, the dynamics in the interaction shows how the things change. And you will see more changes as you go towards the end. That's the best I could do on the written. And yeah, this is the first time I'm reading it out, so I guess the expressions did help a lot.
Yes, yes.
So being from the IT world, how do you really manage your time? Right? I've known you for quite some time, close to 3 years now, and we have been colleagues. So I've seen you spend a lot of time in this book. And yes, in this come out with surprise that you're going to publish it and things like that. So how do you really manage this?
So that's well, I think it was situational because 1 year I was doing my second bachelor room. So my family, my kids, and wife were back in Nagpur. So I had the time, a lot of undivided time in the evenings, and thanks to my kids, Naman and Stuti, they had kicked off the TV habit, because when I was in Nagpur with them, all they would watch was cartoons, so I had lost the habit of watching TV. So then I had this time, and I had this very old childhood urge to write something. And I started writing. I had a different concept in mind. So the evenings when it was like between 7, I used to reach off home by maybe 7:15. So between 7:30 to 8:30, 9 o'clock is when I used to spend my time writing. Weekends, of course. Fortunately, my job doesn't make me open my laptop after I reach home. Whatever has to be done is possible on the mobile. There were times when I used to spend the weekends writing. So the longest stint I ever wrote was 3 hours at a stretch. That was one weekend. I think it was Saturday or a Sunday night. And this stretch, I think that was the chapter about the flowers part, not by regret. After 3 hours, I couldn't sleep that whole night. It was so exhilarating, the whole experience. But then the whole interspersing of time was largely in the evenings and the weekends, which somehow managed to write something like 210 pages. Came out as a book, so that kind of. I still do write. Now my timings have changed because evenings goes for family, so I kind of pull out an hour in the morning. It takes about 20 minutes to get into the mood, and it takes 20 minutes to kind of ramp down your whole thing, which means effectively you write for 20-25 minutes, and that's about it. So this writing, the second writing is going very slow. Yeah, but
The name of the book is Finding Swayam.
Thank you so much. Yes. So the first book was based on this shloka from the Bhagavad Gita, as I said, Sarva Karmani Manasa Sanyasyaste Sukham Vashi Navadware Pure Dehi Naiva Turvanna Karaya. So Navadwar, 9 gates, Navapura, city of 9 gates. So the meaning of this is a person who has completely renounced the fruits of all work, dwells happily in the city of 9 gates, neither performing nor directing actions. So the concept of this book is based on the karma, doing work without the expectation for benefits. The next book is a slightly more difficult concept to handle. It's based on again a concept from the Bhagavad Gita which says Swabhava. Every person has an inherent nature, and you work, you express yourself, you live life as per that nature and your characteristics. So, but the point is, do you really realize this? Do you understand this? And do you bring yourself in alignment with that true self or that true nature? It's a more challenging concept if you ask me. This came out, it's always like the first time is easy, second time is more difficult. So I'm going through that now. But that answers your question in time. Thank you for introducing my next book. Anyone else? I think one last question is possible. Good. So yes, to close, this book is available on on all online platforms, Amazon, Kindle, Flipkart, whatever. And I'm humbled by the kind of reviews I'm getting. The last one is really awesome. In fact, I think it's better than my book. The way it's written and the way it's a very metaphorical book. It's very symbolic, and yeah, there are challenges as an author, a self-published author, to kind of promote his books. So I'm very happy that you could all come. It's a big encouragement to be able to present. And if you'd like a copy, I have a few copies with me. You can feel free to collect it from me after the show. Thank you so much.
So guys, that was really awesome. I mean, mind blowing, to be honest.